Hello everyone, welcome back to the second video on the concept of region, and in this video we'll be discussing from question number 5. In the previous video we discussed the basics of the concept of region, and then we did solve like couple of questions. We solved basically 4 questions in the previous video, but we had a detailed discussion of what exactly is region. Okay, so if this is the first video of concept of region that you're watching, then I would like request you to pause the video here itself. Do not move forward. Go back and watch the basic video in which I have explained the basics of concept, the basics of region or the concept of region, in which I have explained you what is meant by this term region. Okay, so watch that and then you can like practice questions accordingly. Okay, otherwise it will not, if you're gonna directly watch this video, it may not prove to be that fruitful. All right, anyways, let's begin. So let's start with question number 5. So you guys can pause the video and you can try this question yourself first. Cool. Let's see what we can do with this one. So in a rectangular coordinate system, that is the xy plane, basically calculate the area enclosed by following system of linear equations. Linear inequalities, my mistake. Linear inequalities. X plus y less than 8, x greater than 2, y greater than 2. Now you do get questions like these, like especially in GRE and GMAT exams. Alright, so I'm going to explain you step by step how you're going to deal with this problem. Okay, now what you're going to do is, first of all, you're going to remove this inequality sign from all the three. You're going to remove inequality from all the three and you're going to rewrite your equation as x plus y is equal to 8, x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 2. Okay, and let's draw the xy plane. This is my xy plane. So let's draw these three lines on the xy plane. So I'm going to start with the easier one first. I'm going to start with x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 2. So y is equal to 2 would be a line something like this. This is what y is equal to 2 would look like. And it's going to pass through 0, 2. It is going to pass through 0, 2. Second is x is equal to 2. So x is equal to 2 would be a line. X is equal to 2 would be a line something like this. And this point here, it's going to be 2, 0. And this is my line, x is equal to 2. And I will also write their meeting point, which is like 2, 2, which is like 2, 2. Alright. Now the third line that I have is x plus y is equal to 8. Now remember that whenever you are supposed to draw a line, whenever you are supposed to draw a line in a 2D plane, what you will do is you're going to take simply 2 points, because if you want to draw a line you require 2 points, right? Because you require direction as well as the intercept. So you will get the direction and the intercept using 2 points only. So if x plus y is equal to 8, or whatever equation you may have, what you will simply do is, first you will put x is equal to 0, you will get y is equal to 8, then you will put y is equal to 0, and from there you will get x is equal to 8. Always these two things. X 0, calculate the value of y, then y 0, calculate the value of x. So this will become, I can say that point 8, 0 and 0, 8 lie on the line. Or in other terms, I can say that the line passes through 0, 8 and 8, 0. Fine. So that means I can say my line is going to pass through 0, 8 and 8, 0 and 8, 0. So connect the 2 points. This will be that line. This will be that line. Okay. Now we also need to calculate the intersection point of x plus y is equal to 8 with x is equal to 2 and with y is equal to 2. So if, first of all, let's calculate the intersection point of x plus y is equal to 8 and x is equal to 2. Now if x is equal to 2, if x is equal to 2, can I say y will automatically be 6? Because if x is equal to 2, then this value you're going to plug it in here. Sorry, you're going to plug it in here, and from there you're going to get y is equal to 6. So the intersection point of x plus y is equal to 8 and x is equal to 2 will simply be 2 comma 6. So this point that you see here, this becomes 2 comma 6. This point becomes 2 comma 6. This point becomes 2 comma 6. Second is, you will calculate the intersection of x plus y is equal to 8 and y is equal to 2. X plus y is equal to 8 and y is equal to 2. Now if y is equal to 2, then you will automatically get x is equal to 6. You will automatically get x is equal to 6, which means this intersection will be simply 6 comma 2. Will be simply 6 comma 2. Now I have drawn the lines. So let me remove all this. I have drawn the lines. Now I will take care of inequalities. Okay, now first of all is x is greater than 2. We're going to start with something that is simple. Okay, x greater than 2. X greater than 2 basically means I need all the values of x which are greater than 2. So if x is greater than 2, then that means I will take the region that lies to the right of x is equal to 2. That will lie to the right of x is equal to 2. Because I want x greater than 2. Similarly, if you have y greater than 2, then you will take that region which is above the line y is equal to 2. Then you will take the region which lies above the line y is equal to 2. So you can see this is the region. Now comes the third line, which is like x plus y is less than 8, or better write it in this way, that y is less than minus x plus 8. Basically subtracting x on both the sides, because adding and subtracting does not change the sign of inequality. We all know that. So y will be less than minus x plus 8. Y will be less than minus x plus 8. Now whenever is y less than, then you take the region that lies below the line. Whenever y is less than, then you take the region that lies below the line. So this is the region. Now observe it carefully, because what I want is, I'm looking for the common region for the three inequalities. We are looking for the common region of three inequalities. Now look carefully, observe carefully, and you would realize that this triangle here comes out to be the common region, because this triangle lies to the right of x is equal to 2, it lies above y is equal to 2, and it lies below x plus y is less than 8. It lies to the right of x is equal to 2, it lies above y is equal to 2, and it lies below x plus y is less than 8, or x plus y is equal to it. Basically it lies below. So the question is, I want to calculate the area enclosed. So basically I want area of this triangle. Okay, now I'm going to remove these couple of arrows. Now let's name this triangle A, B and C. Now you can see that for yourself, coordinate of A is 2 comma 6, coordinate of B is 2 comma 2, and coordinate of C is 6 comma 2. And x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 2 are basically vertical and horizontal lines, so they will automatically meet at an angle of 90 degrees. So this is a right angle triangle. I need to calculate the area, which is simply half into base into height. Or I can say that the area will simply be half into AB into BC. Half into AB into BC. Now what is length of AB? Now if you want to calculate AB, you can use the distance formula, or we can simply use our logic. If I want to go from B to A, I'm going from 2 comma 2 to 2 comma 6. If I'm going from 2 comma 2 to 2 comma 6, my length is 4 units. My length is 4 units. And if I'm going from 2 comma 2 to 6 comma 2, my length is again 4 units. So cancel this, and your answer will simply become 8 square units. Your answer is simply 8 square units. And that's your answer to this question. Now it took us some time to solve because I have given a very detailed explanation to each and everything, but once you like practice couple of questions, this will become easy. It won't take this much amount of time for sure. Alright, let's move on to the next one. So pause the video and try this question number 6, please. Alright, let's see what we can do. So first of all, without even reading the question, I know I have to write this. So I'm going to subtract x on both the sides. Then I'm going to divide both sides by -4. And this will be my equation of concern. This will be my equation of concern. So rather than writing it as -4y plus x is greater than -p, I have rewritten this as y is less than x by 4 plus p by 4. If the coordinates of origin satisfy the inequality above, then what can we say regarding the sign of p? Seems like an easy question. Okay. Now, remove this inequality and first of all write this with the help of equality, and this will become y is equal to x by 4 plus p by 4. Y is equal to x by 4 plus p by 4. Now looking at this, one thing is for sure, that my slope is 1 by 4, or let me put it in this way, that my slope is positive. My slope is positive. Now do I know anything regarding the y-intercept? Do I know anything regarding the y-intercept? No. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the three possible cases, that my y-intercept can be positive, my y-intercept can be negative, and my y-intercept can be zero also. It can be positive, 0, or negative, all the three cases. And I'm going to draw all the three cases. Again, then we're going to eliminate. Let's try. So let's draw the xy axis. This is my y-axis, this is my x-axis. So positive slope, I'm going to take case number 1, that is positive slope and positive intercept. So positive slope and positive intercept would be a line something like this. So positive slope and positive intercept. Positive slope and positive intercept. Second case is positive slope and 0 intercept. So the second line is positive slope and 0 intercept. Let me write this here itself. Positive slope and 0 intercept. Third case is positive slope and negative intercept. So this will be the case of positive slope and negative intercept. So positive slope and negative intercept. Alright, now what's the question? Or what's the inequality first of all? The inequality is y less than. Inequality is y less than. So if y is less than, then I'll have to take the region that lies below the line. So I'm drawing this region with the help of arrows, okay? This is my region basically it has to be below the line. That's the whole point. It has to be below the line. Now it says that the coordinates of origin satisfy. It says that the coordinates of origin satisfy. When I say coordinates of origin satisfy, that basically means that origin would lie in the concerned area. The origin would lie in the concerned area. Now for case number one, since we are taking the area that lies below the line, and origin also lies below the line, hence for case number one, when I have a positive slope and I have a positive intercept, I can say that coordinates of the origin satisfy. Because which region I need to take? I need to take the region that lies below the line. Where is origin? Origin is also below the line. Hence, for the first case, coordinates of origin satisfy. So this case satisfies. Now for case number two, when the slope is positive but the line is passing through the origin, the region that I have to again take is below the line. But where is origin lying? Origin is lying on the line. My area of concern is below the line. So can I take the second case into consideration? No, I can't take that, because origin is supposed to lie below the line. Second is out. Again for third case is I feel that it's quite evident, because you want to take the region that lies below the line. Okay, but the origin lies above the line. So this is also out. Hence you can say that P, basically, or let me put it in this way, the y-intercept should be positive, and y-intercept is P by 4, so 1 by 4 is positive, so P has to be positive. That's your answer. P has to be positive. If the question was coordinates of origin do not satisfy, then in that case your answer is P is less than and equal to 0. Okay, both of them do not satisfy. Remember that it's not only less than 0, it's both the cases, less than or equal to 0, both the cases. P is less than or equal to 0, both the cases. Alright, so this is everything about this question that we need to know. That is question number 6. Let's move on now. So pause the video and try this question yourself, please. This is a type of question which you can expect in SAT exam also. Like the previous one can also come in SAT, and this is the type of question which has oftenly come in SAT exam. These type of questions where they give you like two inequalities. Okay. All right. I hope you are done drawing. So see, I'm not giving you any options. Like you can have options, but I feel that my point here is that since I'm teaching you the basics in these videos, so that's why I have framed the questions accordingly. Like comment on the constants B and D, like whatever the result will come out, we're gonna try and extrapolate everything that we can. Okay, that's the reason I'm not giving you options. That's the reason I don't give options for any of my questions. Very rarely I do give options, because as of now I want you to put your focus on the basics. Okay, you can like once you have the option, once you know the basic, then it doesn't matter where you have the options, you don't have the option, it really doesn't matter. The point is you should know things. Okay, anyways, let's move on. So this is 3x plus y is greater than 2. So the first equation I can write it as y is greater than minus 3x plus 2. Y is greater than minus 3x plus 2. Second one is x plus 1 plus y is less than 0. Second one is y is less than minus x minus 1. Y is less than minus x minus 1. So rather than writing it like this, I do expect you to write the equation like this. Okay. Now we have to draw this. There is no other way out. Okay. Now let's decode both the inequalities. Okay, let's decode both the inequalities from the perspective of slope and y-intercept. From the perspective of slope and y-intercept. Now when I look at the first inequality, which says y is greater than minus 3x plus 2, if it is y is greater than minus 3x plus 2, so I can say that I have a negative slope and I have a positive intercept, and here the slope is minus 3 and the intercept is 2. The slope is minus 3 and the intercept is 2. For the second one, y is less than minus x minus 1, I can say that slope is minus 1 and intercept is also minus 1. Slope is minus 1, intercept is also minus 1. Now the interesting thing which you need to note down here, or let me point that out to you, is that the one that has a more negative slope, has a higher intercept. It has a higher, or it has a greater intercept. One that has a more negative slope, it has a greater intercept. Now the line which has a slope of negative 3, in comparison to the line which has a slope of negative 1, the line that has a slope of negative 3 in comparison to the line that has a slope of negative 1, the one that has a slope of negative 3, it's gonna descend more. Let me repeat myself. The line having slope negative 3 is gonna descend more. It is gonna descend more in comparison to the line that has a slope of negative 1. It's exactly the opposite. Like, let's suppose if I say that I have a line which has a slope of 5, another line having a slope of 2. So which of them is gonna ascend more? The line having slope of 5, that's gonna ascend more. The line having slope of 5, that line is going to ascend more, because what is slope? Slope is rise over run. So your rise is more per unit increase of run. Your rise is more per unit increase of run because the slope is 5. Similarly, in this case, when you have a slope of negative 3 and when you have a slope of negative 1, so the line having slope of negative 3, that line is going to descend more. That line is going to descend more. Okay. So I'm going to draw the first line first, and in this case I'm going to use two different colors also. So I'm going to draw the first one, that is y is equal to minus 3x plus 2. So negative slope, positive intercept, so line is going to be something like this. This point here, it's 0, 2. We'll take care of the inequality part later on. Okay, that's why I've said y is equal to. I've intentionally said that. I'm going to take the inequality part later on. I'm going to take care of that later on stages. Second line is y is equal to minus x minus 1. So this line can be drawn as something like this. This line can be drawn as something like this. I hope you got the concern. And this point here, let me draw it again. Doesn't look good. Right. Now this one is better. So this here, this point will simply become 0, minus 1. This will simply become 0, minus 1. Okay. Extend this a bit. Alright, now it's fine. So this green line, it has a slope of negative 3 and an intercept of 2. It's descending more. The second one has a slope of -1 and an intercept of -1, and it's descending this. Again, now let's take care of the inequality part. For the green line, that is the first line, we have y greater than, so we'll take the region that lies above the line. For the second one, we have y less than, so we will take the region that lies below the line. Now you can see it for yourself, the common region that satisfies both the inequality is this region. It is this region. The common region which satisfies both the inequality is this region. So B comma D, or this point P, can be anywhere in this region. This point P can be anywhere in this region, which means B comma D has to be in the fourth quadrant. Now in fourth quadrant, we know that x coordinate is positive, which means B is positive, and y coordinate is negative, so D is always negative. Now based upon this, they can give you a couple of options. For example, B is always greater than D, B is less than D, B into D is greater than 0, B into D is less than 0, B plus D is always positive, B plus D is always negative. But once you know where B comma D lies, then you can figure out whatever you have to, whatever the question is. Then it's not a big problem. The only thing is, you just need to understand where the 2 points will lie, where the B and where the D is going to lie. That's it, nothing else. So the 2 coordinates, or let's say this point P basically lies in the fourth quadrant, so B will automatically become positive and D will automatically become negative, and that is all that you have to do. Okay, all right, let's move on. So pause the video and try this question number 8, please. All right, let's see what we can do with this one. So this one says that Py is greater than Qx. Py is greater than Qx, which in short also means that y is greater than Q by Px. Y is greater than Q by Px. Apart from this, I do not know anything. So I can deduce two things, that is my slope will always be Q by P and my y-intercept is always 0. My y-intercept is always 0 because the y-intercept is not given to me. The y-intercept is not given to me. So we have to take it to be 0. We can't do anything else. Now we need to draw this. So couple of possibilities we can have. One thing I can have is, I can have Q by P as positive. In that case, both Q and P can be positive, both Q and P can be negative. I can also have Q by P as negative, and I can also have Q by P equal to 0. I can also have Q by P undefined. Let's see what all cases can we figure out. What all cases can we make, because slope can be anything. It can be positive, negative, 0 or undefined. There are 4 types of slopes, so we're going to take all the 4 possible cases. Okay, so we need a bigger xy axis. Alright, now if slope is 0, if y-intercept is 0, and slope is positive, and the slope is positive, so my line would be something like this. Positive slope and intercept 0. If my slope is negative and as the intercept is 0, then my line would change and my line would become something like this. So this is positive, this is negative. Case number 3 is, if my slope is 0, if my slope is 0 and my y-intercept is also 0. Now whenever slope is 0, then line is supposed to be parallel to x-axis, but since the intercept is also 0, so my line would basically be the x-axis itself. My line would basically be the x-axis itself. And the last case is when it is undefined. So whenever you have slope undefined, in that case the line has to be perpendicular to x-axis. The line has to be perpendicular to x-axis. Now since the slope is 0, so in this case the y-axis will automatically be the fourth case when your slope is undefined. Positive slope, negative slope, slope 0 and undefined. Now I have y greater than. I have y greater than, which means for the first one I'm going to take the region that lies above the line. So in the second one also I will take the region that lies above the line. For the third one again I will take the region that lies above the line. And for undefined case I'm going to take the region that lies to the right of line because I want greater than. Now the question is, the coordinates of origin satisfy. Now observe carefully, and you would realize that all the 4 lines are passing from origin. All the 4 lines are passing from origin, or in other terms I can put it in this way, that the coordinates of origin lie on the line. That is, coordinates of origin lie on the line. If coordinates of origin are lying on the line, then how can possibly be origin in any of the 4 cases lie above the line? Then how can origin in any of the 4 cases lie above the line? How is that possible? It is not possible. So the question is, take any value of P and Q. Take any value of P and Q. Take any value of P and Q. This here will never satisfy. This here will never satisfy. It's not possible. It's not possible. Now, can you tell me what change? I'm going to give you this as a homework. What change should I bring in this equation? What one change should I bring in this equation so that I get a valid answer from this question? So that I get a valid answer from this question. Think about it and let me know in the comment box. Alright. Alright, so let's try the last question. So for this one, I'm going to give you options because otherwise it's not going to make much of a sense. So pause the video and try this question, please. So I've given you like 8 options. Whichever of them satisfies whatever the question is, mark all of them. That's the whole point. Okay. So depending upon the exam that you're taking, you're going to get options. If you're taking up GMAT, then you're going to have only 5 options. If you're taking GRE, then you can have up to 8 options. If you're taking SAT, then you can have like only 4 options. Anyways, what we are doing is we are learning here the concept, so that's more important. Alright, let's see what we can do with this one. Now, in order to solve this question, you need to know the graph of mod of x. Otherwise, it will be a bit difficult for you to solve the question. You need to know the graph of mod of x, which I taught you when we were doing modulus. So I'm going to just tell you this one thing, that if you want to draw the graph of mod of x, then the graph of mod of x is something like this. The graph of mod of x is something like this. So irrespective of the value of x, y is always positive, because in first and second quadrant y is always positive. So this here becomes y is equal to x, and this here becomes y is equal to negative x. So if x is negative, then negative of negative will become positive. So the whole point is, whether x is positive or negative, y will always be positive. So we're going to use this concept itself, and we're going to make use of the concept of shifting of graphs also, on which I have already made a video. And if you haven't watched that video, so please do that after this video. That's also very important. You do get questions from shifting part also. Alright, anyways, coming back to the question, it says in the xy plane triangular region R. So there's a triangular region which is bounded by x-axis and y plus mod x is equal to 8. Y plus mod x is equal to 8. Now y plus mod x is equal to 8 can also be written as y is equal to negative mod x plus 8. Y is equal to negative mod x plus 8. Now what I taught you was how to draw the graph of mod x. I never taught you how to draw the graph of minus of mod x plus 8. Now let's suppose you do not know that. So how would you make the graph in the exam? So we're going to use the concept there. We'll be using two concepts. One is the concept on how to draw the graph of mod of x, and second is the shifting process and a bit of a logic also. So let's start with y is equal to mod x. So when you'll draw y is equal to mod x, y is equal to mod x will come out to be something like this. This is how y is equal to mod x would look like. Everyone knows this. Nothing new in this. Now, if I want to draw y is equal to minus mod x, y is equal to minus mod x. Now, can I say this? If I want to draw y is equal to minus mod x, no matter what value of x you take, y will always be negative, yes or no? No matter what value of x you take, y will always be negative, because I am saying y is equal to minus mod x. Y is equal to minus mod x, right? So your graph will become something like this. For minus mod x, it will become something like this. This is y is equal to minus mod x. This is y is equal to minus mod x. Now I'll remove the green part. That's not required. Now it's not over yet, because what I am searching for is y is equal to minus mod x plus 8. Y is equal to minus mod x plus 8. Now, can I say that I'm adding 8 as a constant here? Can I say that I'm adding 8 as a constant here? So I told you when we were doing shifting of graphs, I told you that whenever you add something, then the graph goes up by those many units. Correct? So what's going to happen? Your graph will, this graph exactly as it is going to shift upwards by 8 units. And the graph will become something like this. And the graph will become something. So this here, the blue one, is the final graph of y is equal to minus of mod x plus 8. This is the final graph of y is equal to minus of mod x plus 8. This point here is 0, 8. This point here is negative 8, 0. And this point here, it's 8, 0. You can also plug in the values and verify the result. When you'll put x is equal to plus 8 or minus 8, then negative of plus or minus 8, like when you put plus or minus 8 inside this, then negative of plus or minus mod x will always give you like minus 8. Then minus 8 plus 8 will always be 0. Okay, now there's a triangular region which is bounded by the x-axis and this equation. So I can say that my triangular region will be this one. This is my triangular region. This here. This is my triangular region. So now the question is, which all points lie inside the region? Which all points lie inside the region? Now if a point is supposed to lie inside the region, if the point is supposed to lie inside the region, the first thing is the point should lie above x-axis. The point should lie above x-axis. Second is the point should lie below y plus mod x is equal to it. The point should lie below y plus mod x is equal to it. Okay. Now if a point lies above x-axis, can I say the point's y coordinate should always be 0 or positive? If a point is lying above x-axis, can I say point's y coordinate should always be positive? Yes or no? Now if the point's y coordinate is always positive, which means if point's y coordinate is always positive, which means option C goes out, E goes out, F goes out, and G goes out. All the 4 goes out. All of the 4 are out. So using this first statement, I have eliminated 4 options because the point is supposed to lie above x-axis. Above x-axis, y is always positive. Above x-axis, y is always positive. Now if the point lies below y plus mod x is equal to 8, which means I can also rewrite this as y is equal to minus of mod x plus 8. If a point lies below the line, then the coordinates of that point is supposed to satisfy this inequality. It is supposed to satisfy this inequality, that is y is less than minus of mod x plus 8. That is y is less than minus of mod x plus 8. So I just have to plug in the values and verify. So let's start with option number A. So I'm going to put 7 is less than minus of mod 0 plus 8, which is true, because this here will become 0, which will give me like 7 is less than 8, which is a true thing. 7 is indeed less than 8. So A option satisfies. A option satisfies. If you'll do the same thing with B, so 6 will be less than minus of mod 4 plus 8. So this will give you 6 is less than 4, which is not true. So B is out. Let's do that with option D. 4 is less than minus of mod 0 plus 8. 4 is less than minus of mod 0 plus 8. So this is true. This is indeed true because 4 will come out to be less than 8. This is true. So D is also correct. And last option is option H. Plug in the values. 5 is less than minus of mod 2 plus 8. So 5 will be less than 6, which is also true, which means H is also correct. So there are 3 points which are going to lie inside this triangular region. That is option number A, option number D, and option number H. Okay, so you'll have to draw this triangular region first of all, because you need to know whether it's the above x-axis part or the below x-axis part which you have to take into consideration. Okay, you can't simply do it with y is less than minus of mod x plus 8. That x-axis is also a point of concern for us. Alright, so these are the types of questions which you can face in the exam from the region concept of coordinate geometry. And we'll keep it till here for this video. This is like more or less we are done with this topic, this concept, and we have solved like 9 questions also. So I hope you have you have learned this concept thoroughly. If you still have any doubts, if you have any concerns, questions, do let me know in the comment box. I'll come back to you as soon as possible. Alright. And please subscribe to the channel, guys, for more videos and exam related content. Please share the video, like the video, let your friends also know about the channel. Please help me in growing my channel so that I can reach maximum number of people. And if you're looking for any personalized classes, then you can always contact me on WhatsApp, or you can reach me with the help of email also. Alright guys, thank you so much. Keep watching and keep learning.